What's going on, mates? Teacher Manny here, and welcome to another episode of Life Podcast. Here we talk about Jesus, his life, his teaching, and of course his ministry. But the most important thing is to know who he is to us and to know who we are to him. This is Life Podcast. Today, in this podcast, we will be talking about Jesus and Simon the leper. This account could be read from the book Mark chapter 14, verses 1 to 9. Now, mates, allow me to make this story come alive for us today so we could see the beauty of this wonderful event before Christ's death. Now, it's quite interesting here that Jesus and his disciples were willing to be in a house of a leper. And the reason why this is interesting for me is that leprosy during their time was considered one of the worst, most dreadful disease, not just because of its deadly effect, but more so of its ability to contaminate and infect another person. As much as possible, people with this disease is quarantined from their family and society until the disease is healed and or after being declared clean by the priest. And sadly, often they are quarantined for life. In fact, they are supposed to shout, "Leper, leper," as they move along the streets just to make the people aware of their presence so that they, the people, could move away from being with them. They were considered outcast in the society and even cursed by God himself. Now, with this in mind, why then were Jesus and his disciples in the house of a leper? Well, I believe that Simon the leper was actually healed by Jesus and probably could be the reason why the invitation. Simon, unfortunately, still carried the title the leper even after being healed. Maybe only in the eyes of the people, Simon was still a leper, but in the eyes of God, in the eyes of Christ and his disciples, he was a new person and worthy of their presence and fellowship. Now, in the Bible, leprosy is a symbol of sin and how often sinners, even after receiving forgiveness and made righteous, are still considered sinners. Yea, only through the eyes of humans, but never in God's eyes. And I'm glad, mates, that God sees us differently. And so, don't be affected by what others says wrongly about you, because in their eyes you may be a sinner, but in God's eyes, in heaven's eyes, you are his child.